What's up, everybody? It's Sophie, Adam, back with an Encite Live. This episode, we've been kind of gone for a week or two. We took a little break and kind of cleared our head.
Yeah, of course. This job is demanding.
Well, we had some travel. We had some a lot of big kind of branding projects that we were doing. So we kind of let the Encite Live kind of thing slip through the cracks. But we're back, and I'm excited to talk a little bit about a topic that's very timely, very much in the news.
Yeah.
And it has to do with
Facebook/Meta. Yes.
Meta world peace, not like the basketball player.
No, slightly different.
Okay.
But easy confusion.
Right.
Yeah, so I mean, this is like huge news. I'm sure everyone like knows a little bit about this, but Facebook is going through a huge brand refresh, revamp, and they're kind of going under this umbrella of Meta or the metaverse. And I've now noticed this. I mean, at first it was just the, announcement about it and everything. And then I think like a day or two after that came out, I opened up Instagram on my phone and it was, powered by Meta at the bottom. And so you are starting to kind of see that difference.
Yep.
Which is interesting because I feel like we are always talking about, what goes into a brand refresh? Why does that happen? What are the elements to it? So yeah, very timely.
Yeah. So it's like one of those things to where, when you do a brand refresh and the reasons for doing it shouldn't be the reason that Facebook is doing it, right?
Yes,
like it's if you're doing a refresh, we always talk about is your brand 20 years old? You haven't evolved it. Is it too stale? Did you change your business model? Anything like that? But in Facebook's case, they're responding to a lot of like public backlash, right? And poor press.
And I mean, we do always give this caveat, so we'll give it again. Like we were not in the room, we don't know, but. Yes, from I would assume, not even assuming based on numbers, the public's perception is that this is in answer to a lot of not so great business practices or, kind of behind the scenes stuff that's been going on lately.
Which we've touched on, right?
Yeah,
they've kind of segmented, advertising and all kinds of different things.
Yeah, so there's definitely some...
Phone's ringing.
It happens. It's a busy office.
There's
lots of thoughts going on.
Post-COVID.
But yeah, I think that we've touched on a lot of that kind of maybe not so great news that they've had recently. And I think that this is like maybe designed to distract a little bit. Who knows? Who knows what that thought process was? But I will say that, and I was looking at this today, their public opinion is not going up in the way that I think most companies would expect it to after an exciting refresh like this.
Yeah. Well, I think, number one, I think it's just the sheer size. They're such a huge behemoth and they take so much criticism. They take, so many people are involved. There's so many customers and users. It's hard to get away from that. And plus, they're a platform that allows people to speak in real time, and it's not like a Coca-Cola kind of thing, or it's a Best Buy or a large retailer that they can take the time to do this. But they just they're ripe for criticism, and ridicule and that kind of thing. So I don't know that you can get away from it. But I think the one thing that they at some point, I bet this was in the mix. I would guess that the rebrand refresh was somewhat planned, but I bet it was accelerated. Due to kind of the environment. Yeah. So, but I'm wondering about the name Meta. We talk about metaverse, and I think they're trying to get into even more ingrained into people's lifestyles, right? Sure. So, which is kind of weird.
Yeah,
kind of Skynet Terminator.
It's a little
kind of thing going.
Big Brother kind of.
They're already a little bit of Big Brother, but now it's like even we're living. I remember Mark Zuckerberg talk about like we're going to live in the metaverse. I'm like, now it starts to get really kind of AI and it gets kind of uncomfortable for me a little bit.
Yeah, and I say this all the time. Maybe in 5 years, looking back on a statement like that will be like, of course, you know. I mean, I feel that way about like the whole like self-driving Tesla thing. That freaks me out a little bit. And I do think that there needs to be like a line to like where technology ends and where our lives start. But when I hear Meta, the name, I think like encompassing, you know, like I think that the end goal of this is to kind of become, I mean, a huge part of every aspect of our lives, more so than they already are.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, I don't know what that implication is, but it can be kind of jarring, I guess.
It starts to remind me that there's a sci-fi movie with Bruce Willis that's like called, I don't know. They sit at home and then they have robots that they go out with. And so it's AI through the robot. I forget what it's called. I'll remember it after this thing. But that's where it starts to get weird for me. Like we're living and we're ingrained and inside this digital world.
Yeah. And this digital world that like
not that
one person has created, really, right? You know.
It's not that maybe cool, maybe super cool, but it's still just weird.
Yeah, I think it's just something to get used to, you know, which is as maybe this whole like larger brand is now going to be. But yeah, let's talk about like the elements of it. I mean, what are your thoughts on the logo?
Well, my thoughts initially on the logo was it's an infinity symbol, so it's kind of a kind of distorted infinity symbol. So to me, it's almost very pretentious and very kind of like
Meta,
Big Brother again, right? That we are Facebook or Meta, we are infinity, we are time eternal, we are anything and everything.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's just, I mean, but that's my interpretation as, you know, we deal with a lot of creative, right? We see a lot of different things. And that to me is like, that's still kind of like unusual, right, for me. But one of our interns said, you know, that they have the Oculus and everything.
Right.
And now that looks like Oculus glasses. So that's another interesting thing that that they're incorporating as well.
And it's like that's tying back to another new thing. But the Oculus too is very much like, let's be in your life in another more, you know, I don't know. There's just so many elements to it that are like, I mean, almost verging on invasive.
Yeah.
But we'll see, you know, I mean, like I said, who knows, maybe I'm, you know, 5 months from now, it'll be like, this is how we do this now because of the metaverse, who knows? But it's super interesting to watch, especially because like you said, I feel like we've been talking a ton about Facebook and their branding and marketing and stuff recently. So.
Well, yeah. So I think their visual identity fits for what they're trying to do. And I mean, I think
it's sleek, but I agree with what you're saying.
It looks great. It looks great.
Yeah.
But I think that there's a lot of similar logos out there, and I've seen a lot of course, criticism. Everybody kind of gets after it and makes fun of it. No matter what happens, you know, some people are gonna criticize what you've done, and a lot of the design is subjective, but we always say we're still on strategy.
Yeah.
We're still looking at those brand attributes. Is this representing those brand attributes? Which again, we don't know. We're making a guess for Facebook, but
I would say that it does, based on what I would assume. That
what I would assume, right? Like, but at the same time, you know, you gotta. It's pretty subjective, and everybody's gonna knock it, you know, whatever. And then there's some other people that have a logo that's super similar, and it's a knockoff of theirs, and it's like, well. But come on, right?
Isn't everything a knockoff of something?
Like everything's inspired by something. I mean, music and art and everything else is inspired by people, and they do take elements there. So I don't know if that's necessarily true, but
I mean, I don't think we're dealing with like a new Coke situation. I don't think that it's gonna implode. I think that this will make sense in the long term, but it does just feel like it feels like a large shift right now.
Yeah, it's a large shift, but I think it's all gonna blow over.
Yeah,
it's Facebook's too big to fail is the phrase. I mean, that's not entirely true all the time, but they're pretty big, and you know, in the advertising world, they're again a huge player, so they got a lot of money.
Yeah, I don't know if I mean, I think maybe part of the thought process behind this too is that I think that less people are going on Facebook.com maybe than they used to 5-10 years ago, but the Instagram acquisition and like kind of how they just have their hands in so many other pots at this point, like, you know, they are kind of making that web and like expanding and becoming their own universe, you know?
Yeah. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Hopefully we won't all be just
AI bots.
in a virtual augmented reality all the time.
It would be kind of fun though if we just had like avatars instead of us, giving this news. I feel like that could be kind of fun. Our like cool little metaverse men. Who knows?
You never know.
But yeah, we'll keep you guys updated. I'm definitely interested to see kind of how that public perception shifts maybe over the next month or two when this kind of becomes more and more accepted.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see. We'll keep you guys updated. And I'm sure that we will have definitely more social media marketing news coming your way soon.
We'll see you in the metaverse.
Yeah. See you guys.